Greetings. Today, I would like to talk about the upcoming full moon, which will be a lunar eclipse this week in Virgo, and what Virgo and this Virgo eclipse can tell us about not just current events, but how to respond to current events by living according to your values, living in the here and now according to the big picture of your spiritual truths, your spiritual beliefs, what brings meaning to your life, and what connects you to a bigger picture. So, Virgo shows us how to do that in the here and now through living the values that are so important to us. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro Perspective for Sunday, March 9th. And this week we have a lunar eclipse. It is March 13th to 14th. So the March 13th full moon is exact around midnight, right? Just 11:54 p.m. March 13th Pacific time. So with this eclipse, we are coming to the culmination point of the Pisces moon cycle. So this moon cycle began with the new moon in Pisces, focusing on a bigger picture of meaning, of spirituality, universal truths, things that are true in the bigger picture. So beyond sort of what our everyday ordinary ways of operating have to do with, and connecting to this bigger picture of meaning. And so that includes spiritual and moral values, ethical values, but also things that feel important in the big picture, like why are you here? What are you here to do? What is your purpose? What gives meaning to your life? And we're talking about values because that is how we embody, right? Bring it into the here and now, embody those bigger picture values. So, a couple of different things, just speaking technically about this lunar eclipse and how the planets are lining up for us to give us some, the way that the planets speak to us. So, we have a full moon, which is the moon and sun opposite. So sun in Pisces, moon in Virgo. And the sun during the exact full moon is very close to Saturn. It's within a couple of degrees of Saturn, about a degree and a half. So conjunction between sun and Saturn in Pisces, bringing that Saturnian tone of limits, finding limitations, running up against your limitations, but also how we bring things into form. So Saturn, the reason Saturn is considered to be such a difficult or challenging energy is because Saturn reminds us of our earthly limitations, right? Well, why, when you kick the leg of the table, your foot doesn't just go right through, right? It's the thing that causes us pain here on earth. That is how we have those limits to know what it is we're working within. And so we have physical laws, right? The laws of nature that are some limits that we must work within. We also have laws that we create, so systems and structures that we operate within. And that creates some boundaries and limits that maybe we do have some control over or can change when we decide to, or at least is something that we can work with or work against, some, right, those kinds of limits. But also Saturn is about form. So it's about how we define things, how we put them into a shape, how they come to exist, how they take shape. So, that's everything from how you as a human being show up, right? In your physical form, your name, where you live, all the things that identify you. That is Saturnian, right? It's a limit. It's something that defines you. The shape of a glass that holds water has Saturnian limits. It has properties, right? It has rules that we understand, and it can hold water. So there are lots of ways Saturnian energy shows up. Because it's in Pisces right now, it is reminding us that we need to take the bigger picture of things that are intangible, things that are energetic or in the flow, or maybe feeling based or intuitive, something that is hard to contain or define, and we need to give it some structure. Put energy into form. The ways that we might take ideas and turn them into a plan. That's a great example of how to work with that Saturnian energy. We could take a dream or something we imagine, right? So Pisces is all about dreams and connecting with the way things operate outside of rules. So when you're in a dream, the rules don't apply necessarily, or it's a whole different set of rules, right? So you can take a dream and you can put it into a plan, make it into a structure. So there's a way of embodying a dream, and that can be a dream that you have for what you want your life to look like, what you want the world to look like, what you want things to feel like in your life. That could be your dream, right? Your dream, fantasy, whatever, right? It's like something that's the ideal, like that bigger picture of a bigger truth. And you can take that as a guiding concept, right? As something that gives purpose to what you want to create. And then when you have that bigger dream or something you can imagine, imagination really plays a role with Pisces too. When you take that ability to imagine or dream and then turn it into something practical, that's also a way of creating form and making things happen. And some people call that a plan, right? Executing a plan. It's embodying a dream, embodying a vision, taking energy and making it into something real, making it tangible. We do it all the time. We just don't necessarily talk about it in those terms. So Saturn in Pisces is about how we do that. With the sun joining up with Saturn in Pisces, we are emphasized, the energy, the quality is emphasized in terms of what are we doing to turn our dream into a plan, into something tangible, into a form or an outcome that aligns with our dream or our bigger picture of something that brings meaning to our lives. How do we turn that into our purpose? And how do we turn our purpose into action steps on the ground? Make it real. Okay, so that's Saturn and the sun, and embodying a bigger picture of spiritual values. We also have Neptune in the final degree of Pisces. Last week, I shared about that Pisces energy, the truth about Pisces, how to think about these last weeks that we have with Neptune in Pisces. And Neptune is at 29 degrees, 23 minutes as of this exact eclipse and full moon. So we're really in this final space of Neptune in Pisces. Things are surfacing. When we have a planet in the final degree of a sign, there is a completion, but there's also surfacing or reckoning with the energies of that planet in that sign that are not finished. There's a realizing of where the work is remaining to be done. So it comes to the surface. We see it more clearly. We go, oh, okay, this is what's not finished yet about this journey. Neptune in Pisces, bigger picture. So check out, not yesterday, but last week's video about the truth about Pisces and Neptune in the final degree or final weeks of Pisces for more on that. with that big picture Pisces energy of dreams and imagination and meaning and spiritual guidance, we have a Virgo full moon. Virgo is an earth sign. So the moon opposite the in Virgo is opposite Pisces. The Virgo energy is about the hands-on physical world. It's about how you take clay, which is a blob of earth and water, right? And shape it into pottery, right? So what do you do when you make mud into pottery? You're creating something useful, which is a Virgo theme. You're creating something, you can make it beautiful, right? Put art, put beauty, put love, put care into it. That creates beauty that is a reflection of the divine energy. So something useful that is also beautiful. This is the potential that Virgo is helping us to connect with. Hands-on every day. So living your values, making things happen, shaping the world in the way that you want to see things go, according to your dream, according to your imagination, according to a bigger picture of meaning and purpose. So living your values, right? Taking that bigger picture of meaning and shaping it into something that can be acted upon, something that can be shaped, created, steered. All of those things are helping us to create new forms, new structures, new containers, and new ways of operating in our lives. So all of these energies apply to our individual personal lives. So how is that showing up for you in a very personal way? What are you noticing that requires you to put in some effort to shape something or to steer something a certain direction, or to put your sense of meaning and caring and purpose into how you live your life to be part of something that you can imagine or dream of? Then we have the energy of Virgo, which is humble. Virgo likes to not take up the limelight, right? There's a humility, there's a sense of, I have more to learn. I am capable of getting better, of learning, of growing, of improving. And so noticing where things are not right. And we can, of course, have that show up in terms of hypercriticism and self-doubt and holding ourselves back because we don't feel good enough. But the other side of that is that the true humility that says, I am learning and growing, I can do better, I can learn how to improve on what I already know how to do or am already good at, or maybe I don't know yet at all, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to roll up my sleeves and put in the time to, and the patience and the diligence to improve at something. So that's Virgo. Virgo also likes to be of service. So something that is helpful, something that is useful, coming back to our pottery image, right? Something that could be used to help our lives, right? Improve our lives, make something better. So how does all of this translate into what is showing up in your life and how you are being asked, invited, opening to some way of contributing, of offering your skills, your wisdom, your life experience, your knowledge, your, whatever it is you're good at, even if it's just you're good at being there for other people, right? Think outside the box in terms of how you can see what you have to offer. And then taking what you have to offer and asking yourself, what are the practical applications for that? What does that look like in real life? How do I think about improving in my own life and get, what is it I want to get better at? And so there's this combination of offering what you already know, what skills, wisdom, etc. you already have, and offering that in service, saying, here's something I'm good at, here's something I can do, something I have to offer, and here it is to be helpful, to be useful for others. It can also be that, hey, this is something I would like to do, so I'm going to learn how to do it, or learn how to do it better. And so, learning, apprenticing, finding a mentor, finding someone who knows how to do it, reading books, taking classes, all of those things are ways to get better at whatever it is you want to do. And so it's both at the same time, right? It's offering what you're good at, but also being willing to learn how to be even better, or to contribute your skills to say, just like that, having the eye of a proofreader, like, here's where I can see that something could be made better, where the little details are that are going to be helpful to the whole, right? So thinking in terms of how to be helpful, how to be useful, and how that bigger picture of your dream, or what you imagine, or what what fills your heart, what inspires you, what moves you, what do you care about, and then how do you make that tangible, get hands-on, make it happen? What are the boring, routine, everyday, practical steps that need to happen to bring that bigger picture of a dream into being? So that is what this lunar eclipse is inviting us to step into and to think about for our lives. Thinking about values too, we have Venus retrograde in Aries. So that, that Venus sense of connecting with beauty, with values, with what we find to be valuable, and really getting creative with this part of it. So something that we might think of as being valuable, like money, has there are other things in life that have value as well. So what in your life has that kind of value for you? And again, that could be something you're good at, something you know how to do, something you have that someone else doesn't have, a skill, a gift. Who among us doesn't have something of value that is beneficial to others? So, and really thinking in terms of these universal truths and this bigger picture of compassion and empathy, and how we care for one another, and how we feel what others feel. And so turning it from this, anxiety about what's happening in the world, to really getting practical about what can I do about it? What does that look like? What do I need to do from here? And think long term. This is really important. This is a long game, this, world life process that we are in. So it's not about solving the problems of the world today. It's about being part of the foundation of solutions. And so this Virgo full moon eclipse really is here to remind us that the little everyday, ordinary, small steps all add up to make something potentially big and important. Just the same way that a bricklayer, just to bring it back to crafts and craftspersons, right? A bricklayer is carefully laying one brick at a time to build a, beautiful building, a cathedral, something important. And so a cathedral is built one brick at a time, right? And you can apply that to other things as well. A beautiful tapestry is one thread at a time, right? One stitch at a time. So think about how this applies in your life. One brick at a time, when that level of attention to detail is given to that one brick, it takes a long time to build the whole thing, but is it better if we give that time and attention and care in attention to detail to the individual pieces and parts and the foundation and thoughtfulness at the beginning, even though it's going to take a long time to ultimately create something? And maybe we don't even know what we're creating, right? We can put those action steps into creating something and investing in it in ways that can contribute to the thing, even when we don't know yet what the thing will look like. But we can dream, we can imagine, and that is what this Virgo lunar eclipse wants us to do, to dream our biggest dreams, our wildest dreams, and then to ask ourselves, how can you put that into the here and now? How can you take that lump of clay in front of you that doesn't have any shape yet and start, right? It might take a long time, but what's the first step? So how can you get that process started and or keep going? Maybe you've already started something and it's just like reconnecting with what inspires you, what motivates you, your big why, right? Your dream and hope for the future, and how you can recenter yourself in what really feels important. So that's my thought for this lunar eclipse. And so Venus retrograde in Aries, I was going to say, Venus is about values and beauty and what we value. And because it's retrograde, we might be doing a little reevaluating about what that is, what we care about and why we care about it. And so again, thinking outside the box in terms of what we see as valuable, what we see as a resource. Sometimes resources are very intangible. Maybe your resource is your community or a friendship, or, who knows, maybe your resource is your ability to go for a walk and space out daily. So really thinking creatively about resources, values, what you value, and how to, again, especially thinking about how to continue the process of turning that into something that is being shaped as we continue moving forward into the future. Venus in Aries is risk-taking. It is bold. It is courageous. So as we do this process of reevaluating, don't be afraid to try things. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That Virgo critical voice comes in and says, that's not good enough, or you didn't do it right. So let this be a process. The point is that you are doing it. And I guarantee you that if you are engaging with the process, even though it might look messy, it might look like it's completely failing at certain points, but that's all part of the process. You pick up, you learn, you move forward, you keep going. And so that's what this lunar eclipse in Virgo has to say to us. One last thought is that during the Virgo eclipse and a few hours after, actually about a day, 24 hours after, Mercury goes retrograde in Aries. So it will join Venus in being retrograde. And that retrograde Mercury is taking us into some reconsideration of our thinking, our words that we choose to use, how we describe things, how we understand things. So that's in there as well. And with a Mercury station during the full moon, we've got that energy of Mercury coming to the forefront, getting us to reconsider and rethink and reevaluate how we are doing things. So rethinking and just opening to this bigger picture of what is calling us forward. So what speaks to you? What inspires you? What do you dream about? What do you hope for? And letting that be your guiding light, even when you don't know exactly what that will look like, but finding a next step and a next and a next from there. All right. Enjoy this upcoming lunar eclipse. And today the moon shifts from Cancer into Leo. So we're moving from that emotional moon sign into the more self-expressive time. And we continue going forward, heading toward that Virgo full moon. Thanks for being here. I'm Marina Orms. You can learn more about me and how to book time with me, book an astrological reading for yourself at astrologyheals.com. And thank you for subscribing to this YouTube channel because that helps to support my work. I appreciate you. I appreciate you sharing with your friends. And thanks for being here. I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.